Well, we got the Orc Codex basically in full. I think we're just missing a couple of pages of like the glossary of rules that aren't in the main rule book. Like the only thing I couldn't find was like assault ramps on the Morkanaut and Gorkanaut. So I think they have assault ramps, like the just the regular rule, but I'm not 100% positive on all the things we got. But I thought I'd break it down mostly for me because into chunks because it's a lot of information and a lot of things are just a little bit different. But I want to talk about warbosses and the Waagh. So we're gonna just condense it all down to this little section here. And then we'll go in there, and I think I'm going to start talking about other things once we have points and stuff. But I think the thing is, you're going to want some war bosses because riling something up is really good. So just a real quick recap. Orcs reroll advanced rolls. I thought that was part of the Waagh. No, they just reroll advanced rolls. It's every time. Paying for it sucks. Getting it for free, amazing. Because I know everyone has had that moment of you're riding that high of I wad and everything rolled like a 5 or a 6, and then someone had the low of I wad and everything rolled a 1. And it's like, well, I'm rolling some 8 inches or 9 inch charges. Hope we just do it. But new Waagh, no +1 attack, no +1 strength. Now a lot of the strength is built in. Not everything getting +1 attack though, so you gotta be careful on that one. And you gain assault, and you can still advance and charge, and you still get the 5-up invul. So the 5-up invul is really nice. Orcs love 5-up invuls. We are kind of we have a low armor faction, so getting a 5-up invul saves us a lot of trouble. Now, why is this important? Because war bosses can rile you out of your regular Waagh. So once per game, everything was, and then you can rile things. Now, you've got to pay attention to what is doing it, because if you take a warboss and Nezdrag and warboss and mega armor, they get to rile something, but they don't all get to rile something because you only get to do it once per battle round. So if you have those three, and or like let's say you have 3 warbosses, you don't get to rile 3 different things with your warboss. Now, if you have a Snaga unit, they get a rile. And if you get a Def Killer Wartrike, they also get a rile. So you can do up to 3 natural riles, and Makari does rile. Hold on, I'm in the way of Makari. Wait, let's fix this. There we go. No, I'm not in the way of Makari. Sorry, little buddy, you've already suffered enough. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. But Makari, but Gaskell picks the battle round, and he removes Makari as a token, and then you get to rile that many units, and it doesn't have a range restriction, which is quite good. So I think you're probably going to be riling naturally without Gaskell counting. You're probably going to be riling 1 or 2 units per turn. Because I'm guessing you're going to have either a Warboss or Nazdrag or a Mega Warboss of some kind, and you're probably going to have some Snagga stuff or some Speed Free stuff. I'm struggling to. I don't think you're going to fit like every Warboss type in just to rile things. But, I mean, maybe. I think you could. I don't feel like I'm confident in making that claim. So let's just go into the war bosses. Gaskell, huge glow up, some losses. He lost like crit 5s and lethal hits and all that stuff, but he still has the +1 to hit wound. He has the Makari thing we talked about earlier, where he puts things into the Waagh, and man, his stat line is just beefy. He gained +2 move, he gained +4 toughness, he gained +6 wounds. He's just a lot. His bubble of +1 to hit wound is an innocuous buff, and like it's not flashy. So like Gulliman getting double oath and picking 3 and all that stuff, or Angron coming back. Those are flashy abilities. However, +1 hit wound is just insane. It's like one of the best buffs in the game. It makes things do damage that shouldn't be doing damage, and it makes things that should do damage more consistently do damage. So it buffs everything. It's great. I don't. I mean, it's insane. I've got several people messaging me like, I think he's gonna be broken, and like, maybe if he's 350 points, maybe not. I don't know. He's good. He's good. I'm really excited for Gas. But he gains load up near infantry. Let's see. Did I miss anything? His gun gained AP1. He's got torrent on his flamer, which is now a flamer for some reason. Like he's just spraying that Mork's roar all over the place. But yeah, I don't know. I don't need to go too much into it. I think you're probably going to take gas. I don't know if you're taking them for the Waagh specifically, put things in the Waagh, but I think that's a nice little bonus. Probably taking it for the +1 hit wound. Nazdrag, brand new, so no changes on him from the edition change, but he has a bunch of attacks. He has a bunch of melee attacks, a bunch of range attacks. He gives his unit ignores cover, so that one's interesting because Mega Knobs are not exactly the shootiest unit. But maybe if you take them with him, you do. Of course, this is assuming he joins Mega Knobs. I think he does. Now, if he only joins Mega Knobs, is different than if he joins Mega Knobs and like if he joins Flash Kids. You're never taking it with Mega Knobs. You're taking it with Flash Kids. But yeah, so he he riles things. He has the move. He has all that stuff. Really cool character. Really cool model. I'm excited to see how he works on the table. He's probably my favorite. My of the new releases, probably the thing I'm most excited for model wise. But yeah, I don't want to run into these things like super detailed because like we've seen these profiles and I just want to talk about like war bosses, why you're taking them, which is you're taking them for deep strike and to rile up your Mega Knobs. War bosses. So I wanted to do a screenshot of the war boss data sheet from the thing, but it's super blurry because all the leaks have to be blurry or have a glare, and this one picked blurry. Okay, it's hard taking pictures of books, but like one day we're gonna get that perfect double, no glare, no blurry leaks. Now, war bosses, the biggest thing about them is they lost the +1 to hit, and they lost the +4 attacks on the Waagh. Now they get +3 attacks, +2 strength of the charge, which is usually better. Now you are going to be charged. So here's the thing: if you charge something, and then on your turn they're going to be charging you, you don't get the bonus. My cat's going crazy. I don't know if you just saw him. Yeah, there he is. He's going nuts. But yeah. They Waagh things. I think they're probably gonna be the cheapest way to put you in the Waagh. But yeah, so the biggest thing I thought about war bosses was interesting is the power claw versus the choppa, the custom choppa. The problem is that the custom choppa is now it has the same amount of attacks as a power claw. And I know you get more attacks with cleave, but I don't know if cleave is a good enough trade-off to be strength 12. I'm not sure. I'm leaning power claw. Now I can see the point of custom choppa, especially if like low, like mid toughness stuff is all over the place. Then I'd switch over to choppas. But right now, I'm leaning forward to that one. Beast Boss. So this one changed a lot. He gives a lot of beast snagging units. But now he doesn't do devs on the charge with anti-vehicle 4-up. Now he is just sus 2 versus monsters and vehicles. And he's got strength 12 and AP 2 on his melee profile. So he lost like the claw or the choppa, but his profile is just better. Yeah. Interesting note is if you look at the Snagga boys, they lost the reroll hits versus monsters vehicles, so he's a little bit less consistent in that regard because you can't just Warhorde with crit 5s and lethals from Ikari and full rerolls with Suswan from Warhorde. But still, I think it's better. Honestly, getting the extra AP, going to strength 12 all the time, just better. Just better. Squigosaurs. Now, they're quite different. They don't join Squig Hogs. They have loan up if they're next to a Snagga unit that's not a Squigosaur, so you can't do the demon. Like, they did it like 3 months for like Demon Princes, could like Demon Prince, like they just move forward and they're unshootable. Yeah, that was a good time. They're avoiding that. They saw that one coming. Their stat line's better. They got the toughness and the wounds. And their melee profile is this is the first time we're talking about Hunter in this video anyway. Hunter is just if you're targeting the monsters and vehicles, you get a different profile. So they double their strength and they go from damage D2 to damage D6. Really good. They did lose. Okay, it is a bummer that they lost the heroic intervention. I really enjoyed that. Pros and cons, I guess we were gonna say. I see that they're really good. I think you're gonna have them around. I love having tough Squigosaurs just running around on the board. Having a unit that you can put out in the open-ish is really nice. Now, is it as important as it used to be? No. Let's see this. Hold on, let me move here so you can see my cat is he's having a good time. But yeah, I think you're sure to see these because they do Waagh on. They re-put things in the Waagh. You can put them next to Sagas for loan op, and you can put them next to kill rigs or anything really. I think we're gonna see them. Mazrog, not a war boss. Okay, I want that known. Not a war boss. However, he is man, he is going to he's gonna slap some things that people are not going to be expecting. So he very similar to a Snagga boss where he gains stats. he gained loan op if he's next to a character, or not a character, a snagging unit that's not a warboss model or a Squigosaur model, and he gains reroll wounds versus. Excuse me, sorry, my cat is on my desk here. Let me put him down here. He rerolls wounds versus monsters' vehicles, and he's strength 12 with damage D6 plus 1. He is going to murder some things. Also noticed he gave an extra AP, which one of the problems with Snagga stuff was they had the AP 1. And so going to AP 2 is really big. And then if you've read the, looking forward just a little bit to the next video, which is going to be detachments, the Snagga attachments give you plus 1 AP versus monsters vehicles. So that solves a lot of their like anti-monster vehicle problems, which is they just didn't have the AP to break through. Like most vehicles have a 3-up save, so half your damage is being stopped. Okay, sir. You can see my cat here is decided he wants to be not attention, he wants to be running around. Okay. Wartrike. This one's really interesting. He lost like strength on the Snagga Claw. He lost the auto advance 6, but he gained plus 1 advance on the chart. Plus 1 advance. He joined squads. He's really weird, if I'm being honest. He's at that huge base, so that does not work with the current engagement rules as well as it. Okay, it doesn't have that. We have war bikers behind him hitting everything. You got to be at that 200 from the engagement. So he's going to block some of your attacks. His profile is interesting. He lost the melta gun, which okay. I'd roll the melta gun as like a hope and a prayer. Like, oh, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he'll just hit this melta gun for the first time. He never hits, and if he does, he never wounds. But he lost the flamer, which is sad. But he got a bunch of attacks in melee attacks from like the bike attacks. So like, so there's some trade-offs. If you're taking speed freaks and you need to rile things, he has to be in. That's the thing, is like he's the only source of riling in speed freaks. Well, for speed freak specific models. So I think you're gonna see him in those cases. Yeah, I don't know. He's a weird model. Mega Armor Warboss. Now this one, I think if he competes with Nazdreg, you might not see him. But he lost the plus 1 damage on the charge, or on the Waagh. But his huge Choppa just has plus 1 damage anyway, and he gained Cleave 2, and he lost the plus 1 to hit, but Mega Knobs get plus 1 to hit when they're riled. So like it's still there. He got Charge Mortals, you know. He's still a bruiser. He's T7 now, which is T7 is a lot better than T6. There's not a strength 12 running around. There's not tons of strength. There's not a lot of strength. Sorry, there's not a lot of strength 14 running around. A lot of it's strength 12. And so most things we winning him on 3s. And yeah, I don't know. If he, like I said, if he's competing with Nazdreg, I think Nazdreg is first. And then if you have Nazdreg, then you run a Mega Armor Warboss. In Bully Boys, I believe you can still give him the Deep Strike. So Deep Striking him and Nazdreg does solve a problem that list has, which is slow. It depends on Mega Armor, Knobs and Mega Armor. I think they're good. I think they're appealing. Are they cheap though? Because the problem is, if they're really expensive, they're you got to pay the premium for them. I don't know if you take them then. I don't know if you take 2 squads. I think you take 1 squad. But yeah, so pay attention. You're gonna not be riling everything. Like I thought when I first read, I was like, oh, this riles and this riles. We're just be riling everything. Why even call the wall? We're gonna be riling here and there. Rile it's gonna be a limited resource. It's gonna be around, but it's not gonna be every single model every single turn. Well, 1 turn it will be. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really excited for the rules. I'm really excited how they change things up. I would prefer, honestly, if orcs are more expensive and they're hittier and they have better abilities. However, points you got to play. We got to find out points and see what they're gonna do, because it is gonna be tough. If it's gonna be hard if we're just paying premium for things that are not quite premium. So like Flash gets getting 3 wounds and getting really good guns, but if they're 200 points for 5 guys, like clearly we're not doing that. But if they're 100 points for 5 guys, yeah, we're doing that. You know what I mean? There's some things that just like defilers apparently that you're just gonna pay for regardless of whatever the points are. And I don't know if orcs have that outside of Gazcol. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading up on detachments because that sort of doesn't matter for points. And you can see here, I'm gonna have my gargoyle here in the back. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll catch you guys on the next one.